ahead.
Friendship is something that hopefully all of us have experienced in our lifetime, and I think it's safe to say that all of us in here have at least one friend, except for Chris over there shaking his head. Well, my main verse for this speech is John 15:13. For there is no greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. And I chose this verse because, first of all, it's my favorite verse in the Bible, and I believe it gives off a very powerful message, and I think it's something for everyone on earth to live by. The verse that I chose comes from the book of John. The book of John, scholars seem to accept that it was written between 50 and 85 AD. It was written by John, the disciple. It is one of the Gospels of the Bible, and the Gospels are the books that depict the life of Jesus Christ, life on earth, through the eyes of different people. And what differs the book of John from other Gospels is that the Gospel of John focuses more on spiritual themes rather than just historical events. So the story I want to tell you today that ties into my theme of friendship is the story of Damon and Pythias. And for those of you who had English 2 last year or this year, you'll know what story I'm talking about. But to summarize, Pythias has angered an angry tyrant called Dionysius and is imprisoned. But Damon, his best friend, his best friend, knows that he has a mother and a daughter who still need to be cared for. So Damon confronts the tyrant, Dionysius, and tells him that he will take Pythias' place in prison while Pythias goes and gets his family issues solved. And the tyrant says, fine, but if you are not back within a few days' time, Damon will die in your stead. So Pythias leaves and Damon takes his place, and then a few days pass by, and in the final hour when Damon is about to be crucified in Pythias' place, Pythias finally shows up, and they're sobbing tears of joy, and Pythias is ready to be crucified. He's ready to face his sentence, but Dionysius lets them both walk free because he is so touched by their friendship. And the reason I told you this story was because Damon was ready to die in Pythias' stead the entire time. He was hoping that Pythias would not come back so that he would die in his stead, just as Jesus was ready to die in our stead on the cross. So my cross-reference verses that also tie into my theme of friendship, they're all kind of long, so I'm just going to summarize them for you. Matthew 27, verses 45 through 50. This is when Jesus died on the cross, and I picked this verse because Jesus came to earth and he died for me and he died for you, so that your sins may be forgiven, and that is the ultimate amount of love that you could have for someone, is to lay down your life for them, and that's how Jesus loved us. My second verse was Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verses 9 through 10, and I chose this verse because it basically summarizes how a friend should always be there for each other, how a friendship should always be mutual. If you're there for your friend will be there for you, and you'll always have each other's back. And then my last cross-reference verse is Proverbs 27:17, and I chose this verse because it uses the metaphor of iron sharpening iron as a way to refer to as a man should sharpen another man, as we should build each other up and make each other better. So all in all, my main verse and the story I told you and all my cross-references all point us in the direction of what the true meaning of friendship really is. So all in all, Jesus came to earth and he died for my sins because he has the greatest amount of love for us. And now it's your turn. Go and love your friends with the greatest amount of love possible, because that's the kind of love that Jesus has for us, and he wants us all to love each other in the same way.
Thank you very much. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you very much.